the top, baby, don't stop. You can have it. You can have it all. Let's go to the top, baby, don't stop. Love, joy, peace. Good life and family. Will and success. Let's go.
Hey, welcome to the Tankard Show. Listen, we got a great guest today. This woman is a mommy mogul. She buys and sells dental practices like flipping pancakes, okay? A real estate mogul and a submitted wife, none other than Dr. Heavenly Kimes. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Congratulations to the Impact Network and its founders, Apostle Wayne T. and Dr. Beverly Y. Jackson, for now becoming the only African-American founded and operated international Christian TV network, bringing the gospel to Africa, including over 40 countries and 900 million viewers. We salute you.
Hey, welcome back to the Tankard Show right here on the Impact Network. And today's millionaire tip: successful people do what unsuccessful people are unwilling to do. The people who find true success in life are those are the ones that instead of spending all their time in front of the television, they're actually busy working, developing themselves personally. Listen, the best thing you can do if you're ready to go to the next level, sometimes, yeah, you might need to spend some more time praying, but sometimes you just need to start doing something with personal development. You can't expect that you're going to do the same thing month after month and get a different result. So that may mean you need to join a chamber of commerce. You may need to join a book club. You may need to just start reading. Yes, just good reading. You'll be surprised at how much wealthy people will tell you that reading made up about 60% of their wealth file. And then, of course, traveling and exposure. Get around different people, eat different foods. Don't go to the same restaurants. Don't go to the same vacation spots. I can tell you right now from traveling that a lot of times it was traveling that really exposed me to realize, you know what, I want something different. I want something new. I just left MegaFest recently, and it was so great. They had a film festival there, and it was just full of creativity. And it made me say, you know what, I want to go out, and I want to create something new. I want to go to the next level in my life. So you have to ask yourself, what are the steps that I need to do? What can I do to personally develop? Do I need to start reading? Am I reading every day? Maybe you're spending too much time watching TV. I tell people all the time, listen, if you're not making at least $10,000 a month, you might need to put that doggone TV in the garage unless you're watching one of the shows I'm on. Okay. Other than that, you don't need to be watching all that TV. So make sure that you do things that help you to personally develop and get better. Get around people that stretch you and provoke you to change, all right? All right, on today's Financial Watch, in the news today, the importance of tax record keeping. Set up a system now and use it all year. Oh my goodness, this is so good. I actually made some changes on this myself this year. This could help you save money. If you're making thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of dollars a year, organized records make it easier and less frustrating for you to file your tax return. It also enables you to explain an item on your tax return to the IRS just in case you're audited, and it could end up preventing you paying additional taxes and penalties. Here's a list of things that you absolutely need to save. Gas bills, restaurant bills, your mortgage statement, your bank statements, credit card receipts, canceled checks. You also need all your invoices and sales slips or other written documentation that spells out exactly what you paid for. You could be deducting things from your taxes like your mortgage interest, if you give tithe and offering. Make sure that you start keeping good records. The IRS says that you need to keep it for at least 7 years. So get your tax life together today.
Congratulations to the Impact Network and its founders, Apostle Wayne T. and Dr. Beverly Y. Jackson, for now becoming the only African-American founded and operated international Christian TV network, bringing the gospel to Africa, including over 40 countries and 900 million viewers. We salute you.
Impact is different.
Social.
Impact is fearless, unafraid to speak the truth in love, committed to be a voice for those who have no voice, and ready to listen. Prepared to stand up for what is right, no matter the consequence, working to correct injustice, whether political or social. The Impact Network, for the spirit, soul, and body. Impact is yours.
Impact is different.
Social.
Impact is liberating, presenting life in its fullest and releasing your greatest potential, uncovering your purpose and your destiny, bringing spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, and financial empowerment so you're free to live your calling. The Impact Network.
Come on, let's give it up for Dr. Heavenly Card. Woo! Hey, girl. So good to see you with those shoes. Yes. You look so cute.
I have to keep it sexy for my man.
Yes, honey. I love the shoes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So,
Thank you.
okay, first of all, I'm so glad to see you. See, I just saw you, what? It was a couple weeks ago we were in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, I just saw you.
And then before that, we were together at the WIN Conference, New Orleans,
Sure was.
which was so much fun.
It was.
And I got to tell you, I've been watching you on TV and seeing how you've evolved and grown. But before we jump into that, I want to ask, first of all, did you choose, because you're a dentist, a very successful dentist in Atlanta, did you choose that profession? How did you even come into that profession?
Absolutely. I always had a plan. You know me, Jewel. I'm just
Yeah.
like you. I always come in with a plan. And I thought that dentistry would allow me. Did somebody say something? Oh, I thought that dentistry would allow me to have a family and a career at the same time. I didn't have to do a long residency. I knew I could be home when my kids came home from school. I could be there when they went to school. And I would be there for my family because first and foremost, I wanted to be a wife and a mother.
Oh,
That was
that's
always my
so
dream.
Cool. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so precious. So now you and your husband, I love you guys. And I love how you always talking about, honey, I got to submit to my man.
I do.
And you've taken a lot of heat for that.
I have.
But I love it. I mean, I think it's God's really, I think it's his original plan. And submission is not a bad thing.
No, it's
I think
not.
people think of it as, that it's an abusive thing, but it's not a bad thing. It's simply saying, I love you enough, and hopefully you've chosen God's man for your life, that it's a good thing to submit.
Right, Jewel, I have not read the Bible all the way through. You know that.
That's
right?
okay,
but
baby.
It's somewhere
You
in
still
there
love you,
that
girl.
said that we're supposed to submit to each other. So I
Right.
don't see where I got all the backlash from. I don't understand
Yeah.
it. Because I feel like if you're with the right man,
Come on.
you can submit to him, right?
Right,
I
girl,
can
you
submit
know-
to daddy, can't I? Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. I love it. I love it. Now, let me ask you this. Did you grow up in a family where education and entrepreneurship was pushed?
Absolutely, but my mother actually treated me differently from the rest of my siblings. She always pushed me more. Don't ask me why, but she always saw something special in me.
Really?
That she would push me more. I couldn't go out and hang out at the clubs with my sister, and I couldn't do certain things. My mother kept me home. She kept me in the books, and she kept me in a different environment because she saw something special in me. And I tell you,
Wow.
when it was instilled in my head over and over again, hey, you're going to school, you're going to do the most, you're going to do everything you can, and I just took to those teachings, and I just always did what she told me.
Wow, that is
Right.
so awesome. So now let me ask you this. Now, because I know I want to jump into this, because as a dentist, you've had a lot of success. I mean, of course, there are dentists out there, but I feel like you took dentistry to a whole nother level. Talk to us a little bit about what was your business model that you set up, and then what have you done in real estate? Because I know you've done some powerful things in real estate.
With dentistry, I was always thinking, if I can't make money unless I'm in somebody else's mouth. So I thought over and over again, read a lot of books, and found out that, hey, if I can get dentists working for me, or oral surgeon or orthodontist, I can make more money. So I started buying dental practices, actually failing dental practices. And what I would do was keep a lot of cash on hand and wait till someone was in dire straits, and they would call me. My name came out in Atlanta. People would call me when they were having financial difficulties, and I would come in, rescue their practice, build it up, and then sell it at profit.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is awesome.
Yeah. But I made a lot of mistakes. Now, I ain't trying to say that I'm just
Right.
perfect or anything like that. I made a lot of mistakes, but the thing about it was I was never afraid, and I always got back up and kept going.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. So
Always
proud of you for
got
that. That's what it's about. So now talk to us about real estate. How did
Okay.
you come into real estate? What does that business model look like for you?
You know, I just do a lot of different things, and I kept reading on real estate a little bit, and I went actually, you know, I'm kind of smart, Jewel.
I know you're smart, girl.
So I went out there, and I actually got a real estate license.
Ah.
And I said, well, you know, I'm going to learn real estate because I'm going to buy into it. So I read up on it, got a real estate license, and then I owned a mortgage company for a little bit.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I did. So I know a little bit to be dangerous.
Got it. All right now.
Yeah.
So now, okay, you met your husband 15 years ago.
I actually met my husband, I ain't telling my age, but about 23 years ago.
Oh, 23
I've been married
years ago.
nearly 20 years. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's so good. Oh, that is so good, because I know you also the
Yes.
relationship expert.
I am.
And so we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
But I want to ask you, so how was it? Because certainly, you know, God has opened up a tremendous door for you in dentistry and real estate and now in the industry of TV. How was that? How have you and your husband managed to grow together? Because there are a lot of couples that it's something about the entertainment industry, and I guess they get divorced outside of entertainment
Right,
too.
absolutely.
But you've been able to maintain, obviously, not necessarily a perfect marriage, but a healthy marriage and a successful marriage. So how were you all able to grow through the bumps and the bruises when you did make mistakes in real estate? I mean, how did he handle that with the finances? I mean, were you like, this is my money and this is what I want to do? Or
No.
was it your money together?
Yep.
How do you manage the risk factor? Because I know there's some risk I want to take. The Ben is like, I don't want to do that, but you go ahead. And then there's some risk he takes, like in aviation with airplanes, that I would never take. So what does that look like for you all?
You know, for us, we always took our risks together. I mean, we made our mistakes together. My husband was like, go, baby. He's always had the entrepreneurial spirit of never
Yeah.
being afraid. Because, you know, we feel like God got us no matter
Right.
what. And we feel like we can work our way back if we ever lose.
Right.
So my husband has always been on board when we keep everything together. And when
Oh,
I make a
that's
decision,
awesome.
we talk about it and we make it together. If he wants to make a decision, he just opened another clinic. We made the decision
that's
together
good.
and we believe in one another.
Now, wait a minute. You said you just opened up another
He
clinic.
did. Well,
It's
ours is
okay,
not, you know.
Okay, so,
You know.
Okay, another dental practice?
No, actually, he has interventional pain, so it's a medical practice.
Oh,
yeah,
that
so
is
we just came in.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
We doing some
Yeah.
things. We
That's
doing some
good.
things, some scary things.
Some scary things. So pretty much all your risk, you've always been in agreement.
No, I wasn't always, but I was always supportive. Like
Okay,
my
so
husband,
you would be supportive,
right?
but it
Some of the
wasn't
stuff I
necessarily-
did not agree with, but I went ahead because that's my man.
Okay,
And
all
that's
right,
what the
girl.
wife
Yes,
does, right?
honey.
Right?
That's so good. I love that. So we're going to come back and talk and pick up on that a little bit, because I think sometimes people feel like, oh, if I'm married, I cannot not agree. But that's not true. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.
Dr. King, what's your next move? In March from Selma to Montgomery.
Selma is loud for every man, woman, and child.
We will not wait any longer.
In front of a crowd.
Mine eyes have seen the glory. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Impact is digital.
Social.
Impact is community, where differences in background, color, culture, and thinking unify to provide solutions and spark innovation. Where thinking different makes you distinct and not an outsider. Where when a neighbor is weak, another comes in strength. The Impact Network, for spirit, soul, and body. Impact is yours.
Impact is digital.
Social.
Impact is liberating, presenting life in its fullest and releasing your greatest potential, uncovering your purpose and your destiny, bringing spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, and financial empowerment so you're free to live your calling.
All right, so welcome back, Dr. Heavenly. I'm so glad you're on.
Well,
so
thank
listen,
you.
I want to pick right back up, because I think sometimes when people think about having a successful marriage, does it mean that you agree on everything?
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, right, exactly. You don't agree on it. So when you've had those deals that come up, that he wanted to take a risk, or maybe you wanted to take a risk, how did you guys work through that?
You know what? we would talk about it, and whether I agree with it or not, I would support him, and vice versa. You know, my husband initially didn't want me to do reality TV, but that's another story. But he supported me in that.
Yeah,
so,
exactly, right. So now, at this point, with, you know, juggling the practice, juggling the real estate, and then juggling the whole entertainment industry, how do you feel like you had to work harder to make sure that you're staying invested in your husband and tuned into him? Because I know you're big on relationships, but personally, has that been a challenge? What does that look like?
Yes, I mean, it has always been hard balancing the family and work, and that's one of the things, if y'all been watching the show, that's one of the things we are dealing with on the show. It's like, baby, he tells me I can have it all, I just can't have it all right now, you know, so I have to wait. And I'm listening to him. It's all about priority. I got to make sure my family's first always, and I can't lose sight of that. And I think sometimes when I get out of balance, he reminds me of that.
Yeah, that's really huge. It's interesting because a couple years ago, I remember we had a family meeting, and I'm thinking it's just going to be a regular family meeting. And they were like, Mom, you out of control. And I was like, yeah, I'm out of control. What you talking about? And they were like, you were like, always, you jump from project to project, and we just don't feel like we're getting the time that we need. And I was crushed, you know, because I'm like, I'm doing all this for y'all, you know. But I had to, like you said, I had to, you know, break it down and say, okay, now wait a minute. I'm going to have to, and so now I think the family would say that Mom still gets her hustle on and her grind on, but I still try to make sure I'm engaged because each child is different. We have 5. You all have...
I have 3.
You have 3, and each of them are so different.
They are very different.
You know what I mean? And so they need different things. And so I don't want to be so busy that I'm not discernful to what my husband needs or my children need. So I think that's probably the challenge of every woman that's an overachiever, that's, you know, trying to quote unquote have it all, that it really does take, it's a balancing act.
It is. And one of the things that I've learned is that, you know, my husband will tell me, well, why did you switch and become a relationship expert? Why this? I feel like sometimes, doesn't God call you? It's in the Bible somewhere. God calls you to do what you're supposed to be doing, right? And I feel like I'm obligated to do it. Tell me what verse.
Right. Well, no, he does. He talks about the man with many talents. I know, she's so funny. But he does. He talks about the man with many talents, and it's almost like to the one that has more will be given to him, and the one that just has a few, that will be taken away. So I think that God does speak to us at different seasons of our life to say, now I want you to step out and do something different that you've never done before. And then the grace shows up and he helps you and it ends up being blessed. So I commend you on that, because I think we should live out of our heart.
Thank you.
So that when we leave here, we can leave empty and say, everything that God put in my heart, I did it.
You know what has helped me a whole lot is surrounding myself with people like you. You know what I mean? That I see that are doing the same things. You know, we've had intimate conversations over the phone about, I don't know how to do this. I'm stressed about this, and Jewel will talk me through it. So I think it's important to have friends like yourself and just surround yourself with people that are going through the same things, and how you work through it and how I might work through it. And I think it's just important to just keep the communication open.
I think it is, and you're right. I think people, that you surround yourself around the right people, but I think sometimes people don't move because they're so afraid they're going to make a mistake.
That ain't me.
And that's where but that's where I really appreciate our friendship, because I'm kind of like that. I'm not afraid to make a mistake.
I done made enough of them. After you made them, what else can happen? I done been through everything.
But it's a part of the growing process. I would rather do something than do nothing at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so certainly being involved in reality TV and being a Christian, you know, a lot of people are like, why are you doing that? I don't know. But I'm like, somebody got to tell a different story.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, and I think, and I want to get your take on what you feel like in terms of African-American women in particularly, because there's been a lot of controversy on what's going on in the entertainment industry and how we treat one another. What are some of the issues that you feel like you've seen, and what do you feel like your place or your part has been to be a solution or an answer to that?
I think one of the great things about reality TV is that we don't get to see professionals live out their lifestyle. I mean, I think the last thing they had was the Cosby Show, and their family was there and they're perfect. But we get to show our trials, our tribulations, our mistakes, everything we go through. And I think that a lot of times people think that because you're at a certain education level, that you're not the same as everybody else. Listen, we go through the same stuff that everybody. We have problems with our husbands, problems with our finances, problems with our relationships, with our friends, and we get angry. I mean, we make mistakes. And I think that we've opened up our lives to show that, to be judged, but we're no different than anyone.
Yeah, no, and you're so right. And that's why I really want to applaud you on that, because you had the courage to say, I'm going to show you not just where I've excelled or where I'm strong, but I'm going to also show you my places where I was very vulnerable, very fragile, and my weak areas. And so for that, you know, I really, really want to commend you. Come on, let's commend her for that. You know, that's key.
And you know what, Jules? We've been able to do that and keep it entertaining at the same time.
Yes,
and I think we've been doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's doing very good. Yeah. So now it's time for us to play a game. And the game is called What Would You Do? Okay, so I'm going to read the scenario. This is somebody that's reached out to the Jewel Tankard Show, and I'm going to give you the scenario, and then we'll let you answer it. All right, Rachel from Chicago is a 32-year-old successful attorney who was the youngest person in her firm to make partner. She seems to be living her dream. The only problem is she's ready to settle down and get married. Now, we know you're the relationship expert, okay?
I am that.
But has no prospects. The men that she meets seem to either be intimidated by her success. Okay, this almost sounds like Brooklyn. Misunderstood her confidence for arrogance, or not interested in a long-term relationship. If you were Rachel, what will you do to make yourself more attractive to the type of men that she desires?
You know, that's a very good question, Joel, and I wrote a book about it. It's called The Business of Love. What you have to do is come up with a business plan to get your man. Your vision board, everything you want in a man, become that, because men are looking for absolutely the same thing you are. So if you become the successful businesswoman, if you have all these things, you can find that man through vision board. That's in the Bible too, right?
It is in the Bible.
I know it's got to be somewhere in it because it's right?
No, it's right.
So if you put it down and you look at it every day and you see it and you speak it, it's going to come to you.
Yeah, no, that is so good. And actually that happened.
I'm going to read that Bible, girl. I'm gonna read it 'cause I know too much. I know too much.
But seriously, really, that's how I feel like Ben came into my life. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision, make it plain. So you're absolutely right, honey. And I had everything down that I wanted. I wanted them tall, dark chocolate, fine. Come on, somebody.
You got it.
I wanted them powerful, anointed, rich.
Amen.
Come on now.
Amen.
And so when I met him, he said, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. You're supposed to be my wife.
Wow.
And I know it sounds like a fairy tale, but my aunt is here somewhere, and she invited me to the concert. Where's Auntie Jeannie? Is Auntie Jeannie in here? Auntie Jeannie, come here real quick. But she invited me to the concert, and that's what he said to me. And so you're absolutely right. I think you have to get a vision for your life. And I told you, you know, I wasn't real big on online dating. It can be very controversial because I want to be able to use some discernment when I see him. But when my sister Janetta met her husband that she's been successfully married to, I mean, he is a wonderful husband and father to her children. They met online. And so, but I believe it was a divine connection. And now they're pastoring a great church in Baltimore. So the whole dating app, my mind had to kind of be open to it. I think now with your dating app, if Rachel was to come to you and say, okay, I want to engage you, what would she do?
Well, the great thing about my app, Peak.Dating, is that you have what we call icebreaker questions.
Okay, what's Peak?
P-I-Q, Pique My Interest. We shorten the word, it's P-I-Q, .dating. And what we've done is we've made it so you can ask icebreaker questions so you can get the important stuff out the way. We don't have a cookie cutter where what's your hair color, your eye color, the things that are not really important. We let you choose what's most important to you. For me, it would be, what's your religion? Because I don't think I could work if they weren't a Christian. But whatever's most important to you, if it's family, if it's religion, we get that out of the way from the very beginning, and then we can actually establish a real relationship. Because it's nothing like getting to know a guy and getting all into him and finding out he don't believe or he doesn't want the same things I want. So we need to get those things out right quick in a hurry, and I think that's one of the things that Peak Dating does.
That is so good.
Yeah,
girl,
thank
I
you.
like that.
Thank you.
Because I think one of the keys is that even though you and Damon, is that Auntie Jeannie? Oh, hey, Auntie Jeannie, y'all give Auntie Jeannie a hand. So Auntie Jeannie, you were right there. Now you remember I had my vision board, and she invited me to a Ben Tankard concert. And so she was there for and I didn't even want to go to the concert, not because I don't like Ben's music, but I think I was tired because I've been shopping all day. I love to shop. That's what was going on all day. And so when I came in there, and I was sitting, we were sitting next to each other, and I said, I think he's looking at me, Auntie Jeannie.
Yes, and he was.
And he was.
He was looking at us.
Ooh,
girl.
Yeah. Thank you. Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
So we looked, so he came up to me during intermission, She was standing right there
He
for
couldn't
this.
wait, girl.
He couldn't wait.
till the show was over.
I mean,
Girl.
I mean, he was really a man's man. Because I don't want to date somebody that didn't know what they wanted. But I mean, Ben stepped to me, and I've dated some men in my day, but I had never been pursued. Yes, I have, honey. Yes, Jesus, yes. Thank you for deliverance. But but I mean, seriously, like, he knew exactly what he wanted, didn't he? I mean, he took us on the tour bus that night, and we talked all that night to 5 o'clock in the morning.
Did you, girl?
And we ain't looked back.
All right.
And that we got to get ready to go on the break. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm about to get caught up.
Thank you. How you met your man? Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Keep reading that Bible, girl.
Well, get ready.
Get into it. I'm getting in the word.
Come on, let's give it up for Dr. Heavenly. Woo. So good. All right, now it's time for Reality Watch. Okay, now, Auntie, I don't know how much TV you watch, but I'm going to let you chime in, okay? We're going to chime in on this. Let's talk Flex and Shanice, R&B sensation and comic and actor, loses the fame and money, but quickly reevaluates their spending and careers and step aside out of their comfort zone in business, and they're trying new opportunities. So this is what I love about it. First of all, Ben and I love Flex and Shanice. So if you guys are watching, great job. I love the family. I love what you guys are doing. But I love the fact that you said, listen, because they had a lot of money, and then they lost it. And they probably, I don't know if they were spending wrong. I don't know if they're spending, I don't know what their spending habits were like. But I think the thing is to realize, and you're in business, that once you realize you're spending too much, stop spending. Like, don't keep spending. And I think all of us have had to look at that. And I'm really talking to our children about that because they're entrepreneurs. And so I was just talking to Brooklyn the other day and Cyrene, and they're like, Ma, I want the Vergamo bag and I want the Celine bag. And I said, wait a minute. I'm not going to have children that have more money on their backs than in their bank accounts. So let's make sure, you know what I mean? Let's make sure that we're saving properly and investing properly and then getting debt free. Buy things that are appreciating assets. Listen, when you're in entertainment, just like in any business, you don't know how long it's gonna last for, so you gotta make sure that you spend wisely so that if you go through a downturn in your season, you're not strapped for cash, right?
Absolutely. That's right.
They just said that's right. Y'all ain't got
I
nothing to
didn't
say
know.
about
It's
that.
right, girl.
That's
When you're right, you're right. I'm going to stop you when you're wrong. But you're right now.
Yeah, so the point is if you need to reevaluate your spending. And even if you feel like, I feel like I'm a pretty good, like I'm really frugal and I watch what I spend, and I don't spend a whole lot of money on designer this and designer that, but I do have, my financial portfolio is strong, I'll say that.
Okay.
And so I think that that's more important. And so we have to teach our children that, because statistics show that second and third generation do not keep the wealth that their parents made. And it's because they just haven't been taught. So talk to your children, talk to yourself about your spending habits so you can keep your money and have long-term wealth. All right, until next time, remember, you can't have it all. Woo! Yeah. That was awesome. Yes. Yes, 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 yes.